Hello and welcome back to somebody on the rest of the and to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. And of course it is a big show today because it's the last Smackdown before Saturday night main event, and of course it's the last Smackdown with John Cena as an active wrestler. Wow, it still doesn't feel real saying that. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy weekend, isn't it? But let's get straight into the show. We open with Nick Aldis saying he wants Drew McIntyre to come to the show so they can find a resolution to his suspension. He then told Cody that Drew's lawyer sent him a letter claiming it was an unsafe working environment, which Rhodes crumpled up heading to the ring. Before he could speak, Obafemi's music hit and he strutted his way to the ring to stand face to face with his opponent tomorrow night. The NXT champ called himself the future of WWE and said Rhodes' time was up. Of course, a nice Cena reference. Rhodes tried to walk away, but the ruler stopped him and they had a staring contest. A pretty simple segment to hype their match up, but simple isn't a bad thing. Femi did a good job with what little time he had to make the point. As we then moved on to Ilya Dragunov, who holds an open challenge obviously for the US title, but this week against Ciampa, it was set up last week following another confrontation between the two. Before the match, Fraxian told Dragunov they had his back as things went downhill. The match has been building for weeks. They didn't waste time getting right into the action. They practically ran at each other to lock up and start swinging. This was hard hitting right away. Ciampa hasn't been able to show off in singles matches for quite some time, so it's good to see him remind everyone how good he is. He took control heading into the break by suplexing the champ against the steel steps. WWE was wise to start the show with the bout before it's doubtful anything else on the card would have gotten the crowd as hyped as these two did. They put everything onto this and every second was entertaining. They wrestled through 2 breaks and had a lot of time to work. The crowd got this as awesome chance before Johnny and Candice interrupted, but it didn't stop Ilya getting the pin to retain his title. Johnny attacked until Hayes made the save, which was surprising after Fraxian made a big deal out there for Ilya earlier. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. But on the whole, a really good match between these two, sealed the show probably, and yeah, I think it could definitely develop into a series of matches, or at least I hope so anyway. This is great, 8 out of 10. The Wyatt Six then came out for a rare promo talking about Solo Sikoa and the MFT. Sikoa responded from the big screen. It's pretty short and didn't do much to advance the feud before the next match saw 2 of the War Games competitors go face to face when Bliss squared off with Lash Legends. Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax were in their corners. Bliss used her quickness to control the powerhouse and sent her out of the ring, but Legend caught her in the senton and stamped her onto the barricade. Lash nailed a huge forearm strike that rocked Bliss, and Jax tripped her on the apron to keep her down. Legend countered it and turned it into a finisher for the win. It was a very short match, didn't have much going on, but I thought it was a big win for Legend, and the way she countered Bliss was nice too. So yeah, 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to The Miz versus Javon Evans, who had a heated moment backstage to set it up. The A-lister had control for the first couple of moves, but the High Flyer sent him out of the ring and hit a beautiful moonsault. We returned from the break to see The Miz grounding Evans in a headlock. The young OG made a comeback and hit a few of his signature moves before nailing the young OG to capture the win. It wasn't very long, especially with a break in the middle of it, but Evans looked good getting the win. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. As we then moved on to the Terror Twins versus Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, but not before Jade Cargill attacked Mia Yim backstage and then gave a quick promo in the ring. Yim came out with a kendo stick to get some revenge, but Cargill fought her back, leaving her lying. Made her look dominant, I suppose. But yeah, the match got started with just 10 minutes left in the show, so we knew it wasn't going to be going very long. After a short brawl got the match going, Ripley used her significant power advantage to take control of Vega as the show went into the final break. Vega was able to get the upper hand by going after Ripley's arm. Once the men were tagged in, the Archer Ripley was able to gain some momentum before Vega jumped on his back to distract and say Black could nail him with a kick to the face. Vega and Black botched the Cobra, but it looked like both of them were fine. Vega hit a moment for later for a 2 count. Other than that, one spot, everything else in the match looked good. Ripley scored the win with a Riptide after she and Priest hit simultaneous razor edges. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, like I say, a pretty fun match to kick off this to end the show, and it's good to see the Terror Twins back together again. Overall, SmackDown this week gets a 5 out of 10 from me. I mean, yeah, once again, Dragunov stole the show, and hopefully we see more of him and Ciampa. The rest of this week's show was relatively mediocre. The other bouts all had their moment, but nothing really came close to that. And of course, a lot of attention was put on Cena, as you might expect. No surprise, and no real issue with that. But yeah, that did take up a lot of the 2 hours.
That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.